You wish you were this guy at the dump, but you're this guy. You need a winch-powered trailer unloader. Back your truck up, hit the button, and in less than a minute, you can unload your landscape trailer without any effort, and then be on your way. My name's John, and this is my winch-powered trailer unloader setup. I'm running the Big Tex 5x10 landscape trailer. It's a single axle with a 2,000-pound capacity. I have the Badlands 12,000-pound winch mounted to the front of the trailer between the frame rails. Now let me show you how I mounted the winch to the front of the trailer along with the rollers underneath and the false wall that pulls the debris out. This is the Badlands 12,000-pound winch, and I have it mounted on a Badlands mounting plate, and I have it notched out to allow it to nestle between the frame rails. How I have this mounted, I use these spring shackle bolts. These are grade 5. Bought these specially for this project. This is a great way to mount this. I don't need to drill into the frame or anything. Cause some weak points. This is a really tight fit in here. There's really no gap between the winch itself and the frame. I have a little room on the other side, but I wanted to maintain the regular mounting points for the winch itself. I didn't want to have to drill new holes. Coming off the winch, about 2 feet away, I have a Champion 3,500-pound fair lead attached to a Badlands mounting plate, and I notched out the mounting plate and allowed the cable to run through it, and it's bolted directly to the frame. And what this does is it allows the cable to clear the rear axle, otherwise it would be rubbing. After that, it's just an aluminum carabiner just tied to the axle. All this does is it keeps the cable from rubbing on the ground when it's slack. The rear roller on this setup is a Laser Z HP spindle pulley, blade, bolt, and nut, and a bracket that's welded together with just scrap material. The spindle pulley does not have a bearing. The spindle itself is riding on the blade bolt, and the reason why this clip is in here is because this nut is not tight. It's finger tight. I didn't want to clamp this down. I just wanted this to easily roll. So the pin's in here so it doesn't back off. I can pull the pin and take this whole thing apart if I wanted to. It's held to the trailer with grade A bolts. This is just a cheap setup. Everything works well, rolls freely, doesn't have any problems. Coming off the rear roller, I go across another fair lead. This is welded to the frame. This is just to keep the wire from digging into the bottom of the frame, which it will do if you're not careful. The false wall is all scrap material and a couple eye bolts and a shackle. I do have a couple wheels on the bottom. Whether they help it or not, that it's hard to tell, but they do roll. This is just a couple eye bolts and a shackle, and you just clip it on. Very easy. This is all just scrap material, just stuff I had lying around, and it does work great. The back of the wall is all scrap material as well. Originally I had a Badlands mounting plate back here, but I needed to use it for something else, and I had this old blade lying around. So I just have the bolt from the eye hook coming through, a large nut, and the nut that came with the eye hook. And you're not gonna pull this blade through anything, so this is the setup. What I have in the trailer today is a bunch of logs I split with the log splitter that are too rotten to use in the wood stove. So I'm gonna run this to the dump. I don't know how much weight is in here. It's probably not 2,000 pounds, but it's a good quantity. The trailer's completely full. I'm gonna throw some other stuff on top before I take it to the dump. So now join me as I take a trip to the dump and use the winch powered trailer unloader setup to unload this wood. If you find any benefit to this video, please consider subscribing, and thanks for watching. I'm using the Badlands wireless remote to unload the debris. It's definitely an improvement over the wire remote that comes with the winch. The most important thing when using this winch setup, you need to have at least a trailer length of opening before you start unloading. Otherwise, the debris will build up and it will not want to unload. It's not like a dump trailer where you can just dump the debris on top of something else. This has to have room to unload. Once you get to about the 3/4 point of unloading, it's time to move the truck forward. And with the wireless remote, you can continuously unload while in the truck. What I'm showing now is I'm going to reset the false wall, unhook the winch cable, and now I'm going to extend the cable out and get everything set up for the next run.